All right, everybody. Good late morning. Hope you guys are still doing well on this Victory Monday. Things still clicking for you. Things still feeling pretty good. I imagine that they are, but we all know the job is not yet done. And one of the big storylines this week is going to be injuries. We are going to have to talk a lot about injuries this week because it turns out we got a short week. I think there was some optimism, some belief that the Seahawks might get the Sunday night game, which would give them a full week between their game yesterday and the next game. But no, the game has been left on Saturday. Saturday night, granted, but still Saturday. So there's some stuff going on with both teams in that matchup, the Seahawks and the 49ers, that they're probably not thrilled about. Just speculating here. I don't think either the Seahawks or the 49ers are particularly happy about playing on Saturday. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so with the extra, or excuse me, not the extra, but with the one less day off, players are going to have less time to come back from injury. So let's talk about some of the things that we're going to have to be working throughout this week because we should be getting injury reports on a little bit of an accelerated timetable. We should be getting normally the Wednesday report tomorrow, and then another one Wednesday, and then another one Thursday. And the Thursday one should be the final injury report of the week. And then you have Friday, which is the day before the game, and then you have Saturday. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and kind of get a little bit of a jump on this and start talking about some of the key injuries to watch this week. We're going to mainly focus on the injuries that happened yesterday because those are the ones with a little bit of maybe an unknown timetable. So the first one, if you're a Seahawks fan, the big injury yesterday was Rashid Shaheed. He got a concussion and he was declared out after being taken to the locker room in Carolina yesterday. So I think we all know what this means. Unfortunately, it's pretty rare for a player to get a concussion and then not miss a game. And the fact that Shaheed came out of the game entirely and was not allowed to return, even though the concussion happened pretty early, to me indicates that it's a real concussion, which means he's probably not going to be back for the Saturday game against the 49ers. Now, the good news is he will probably be back for the next week, and hopefully we don't need him until the week after that, because usually a concussion keeps you out for 1 week, and then you can return for the next week. Now, if we play on Saturday of wildcard weekend, that's not so great because that's not a full 2 weeks. So if we do lose on Saturday and they make us play on Saturday of wildcard weekend, then it's not ideal. You prefer to have as much time as possible here. But either way, Saturday, Sunday, or maybe you don't play until the divisional round, he's got a pretty good chance. But yeah, I don't think Shaheed is going to be playing this weekend against the 49ers. I'm not counting him out. You never know with concussions. They can be a little bit unpredictable, but most of the time, a concussion makes you miss the next game. Okay, so that's the big one. The other one, and this one's really only kind of big because of the Shaheed injury, but Cody White got a groin injury, and McDonald has already said it's probably going to be some time. So Cody White, you can kind of cross him off as well. Now, in both of these cases, Cody White and Rashid Shaheed, it is relatively unlikely that one extra day would have made a difference, especially with Cody White. But even in the case of Shaheed, usually a player will miss the next game after getting a concussion, even if it's on a longer week, even if it's like a Sunday night game or a Sunday game to a Monday night game. So I don't think the one less day has really negatively affected anything here. And if Shaheed does proceed through concussion protocol really fast, then I don't think that one day will make a difference. So I don't think this has hurt us in that regard, but you'd still, I guess, in a vacuum, prefer to have the extra day. And Cody White, I think, is just going to miss time no matter what. He might be out for the rest of the season, actually. It would not shock me. Groin injuries, no joke. Now, those are not the only injuries Seattle is thinking about right now. We have some guys injured before. Kobe Bryant and Charles Cross. We don't know what's going on there. We were never given a timetable for Kobe Bryant, and I don't think there's a lot of urgency to hurry Kobe Bryant back because Ty Okada has been playing well, so we can take our time there a little bit. I wouldn't expect Kobe Bryant to play this weekend, and I think that would probably be the case even if he was, even if we were playing on Sunday. Now, Charles Cross, on the other hand, we got a timetable, 2 to 4 weeks. This next Sunday is going to be the 3-week milestone since the injury. So it is actually possible, it is actually feasible that, excuse me, it is feasible that the one less day might make the difference between Charles Cross playing or not playing. So we will see what happens with Cross this week. My gut tells me he's not going to play, but it's just my gut. I don't have any inside information here. I kind of expect him to not play. We've been okay without him. We can survive without him for one more game if we have to. The Niners have one of the league worst pass rushes. They have a miserable pass rush. You should be able to survive without Cross for one more game in this matchup. Okay, so that's the Seahawks stuff. That's what the Seahawks are thinking about as we go into this week. Now, the 49ers have their own injury problems. I want to stress that. The 49ers might even have bigger issues here. Let's start with this one. So we know that George Kittle did not play last night when the Niners beat the Bears. Great game, by the way. But the Niners won, but they did not have George Kittle. Now, there was a report from Jay Glazier right before the game that said, and this is from a Nemhauser here passing it along, Jay Glazier said the 49ers expect George Kittle to return for the game against the Seahawks. However, my understanding is that his ankle was so swollen as of yesterday, they couldn't even really test it. And now they're saying he's going to be able to play football in 6 days after that. I don't know if I buy it. I got to be honest here. I don't know if I buy it. We will see. But one less day to get back is definitely going to be a little bit harder. And maybe they were expecting it anyway, but there are only 2 games on Saturday, right? There are only 2 games. So maybe they were counting on having that extra day to Sunday. And let's keep in mind here that the Niners have had success without George Kittle this year, including last night. So I'm not so convinced. I don't know if they're going to have Kittle, and I don't know if it's a good idea for them to play Kittle. This 49ers team clearly needs George Kittle, and if they throw him out there in a game against the Seahawks that they really want to win, but his ankle doesn't work, I don't think that's going to make anything better, and I don't think that really improves your chances of winning versus somebody like a Jake Tongs being out there. So I'm not convinced. We will see, but as of right now, the Niners have 5 days to get Kittle back on the field and able to play NFL football. And apparently, as of yesterday, he was not especially close. We'll be monitoring closely. And then last night we had this. If you watched that game last night, you definitely noticed that Pro Bowl, possibly all-pro left tackle Trent Williams left the game after one play for the 49ers, hit the blue tent, did not come back out onto the field, had a hamstring injury. And you know those hamstrings, right? You do not mess around with a hamstring injury, especially when you're almost 40 years old, like Trent Williams is. And this is obviously the great fear when you're counting on a player like a Trent Williams. He's an older player. You know that if he gets hurt, it's probably going to bother him and stick with him and linger with him longer than it would other players that are younger and more physically able to heal. So this is kind of like the disaster scenario that the 49ers were scared of when they decided to commit to Trent Williams for 2025. And they had avoided it beautifully all season long. He had stayed healthy. He had made the Pro Bowl. He was playing good. I think maybe he got tweaked a little bit in the first Seattle game, but he was playing. Everything was going fine. And then it looks like it finally bit them a little bit here. I don't know if they're going to have Trent Williams next week, but it would be a minor miracle if a player as old and as experienced and as just battle worn as Trent Williams is able to make it back from a hamstring injury at his age after 6 days. Excuse me. Excuse me. So if I had to guess right now, I would say the 49ers will not have Trent Williams. Now, they got through yesterday just fine without having him, understood, but you'd still rather have your best players than not have them, I think. So we'll see, but this is another big one to monitor. And then you also had this last night. Upton Stout, 49ers nickel corner, starting nickel corner Upton Stout, got a concussion. Done for the night, will not return. This was late in the game against the Bears. And I'll say what I just said about Shaheed. Shaheed, concussion, count on him to miss a game. Upton Stout, concussion, odds are good he misses a game. So that is probably yet another, at the very least, valuable player for the 49ers that is out. I would not expect Upton Stout, and I did notice that his backup was out there in that Bears game, not looking so hot. So these are the things the Niners have to deal with now, too. And even if Upton Stout has a chance to come back this week, he's got one less day to do it. So very tough. And remember, these are the Niners we're talking about here. They're already down Bosa. They're already down Warner. We know those guys aren't going to come back this week. Warner might in the playoffs. Bosa will not. And also Brandon Ayuk. They were counting on Brandon Ayuk to give them something good this year, and he's given them nothing. Now, at this point, Ayuk is not even really part of the 49ers because he never played for them this year, but this is a team that is being deprived of so many of the things they thought they were going to have this year. So there's a lot going on here. They got their own issues to work through. Seattle's got their issues. It could end up being a little bit of a war of attrition here. But as of right now, those are the main things to look out for this week as we move through probably a lighter week of practice, but a week of practice that will tell us a lot about who is going to be available, and that might tell us who wins this game. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos coming later. Keep an eye out on SI for more articles. Got a video going live on Bleacher Report earlier this morning. Go check it all out. Thanks for watching. Give me a like. Give me a sub. Go Hawks.